excited because we have joining us today, as I posted, our relationship enthusiast, Miss Pamela Wilkes, yay! Who always has some good information, and we decided today that we were just going to talk. We always talk about relationships, but we're going to talk about the relationship of friends and siblings, and just wonder sometimes why people are the way they are. We're going to keep it simple and be honest about it. So, Miss Pamela Wilkes, you have a piece that you're going to share with us from one of your writings, correct?
Well, first of all, I wanted to just read something that I put together on relationships. I am a self-acclaimed relationship enthusiast. And as I've said before, I say that I'm an enthusiast rather than an expert, only because of the definition that other people put on expert.
Yeah.
And so I know what I know. I'm clear on what I know and why I know what I know. And so that's what I speak on. And it's my opinion, just like everyone else on the planet. We all have our opinions. We all have experience, and we live by those experiences. Sometimes
Absolutely.
your experiences are good, sometimes they're not so good. But what you have gone through in life is the reason that you are the way you are
Today.
You think the way you think, you feel, you believe the way that you do. So basically, I am almost always on the same level. I mean, I'm very positive. I love life. I love people. I love family. I love friends. Even when people don't act the way or behave the way that I think they should, then I mean, there's still a love for them, because everybody have um, they should be who they are. And who am I to say how you should or should not be?
Absolutely.
So as a relationship enthusiast, I've put something together, and it's from my thoughts, it's from my feelings, it's from my experience. And so I just like to read it. It's not very long at all, but it is about relationships. And if you agree, then you agree. If not, then I would like to hear from those who do not agree, because there's always room for learning.
Oh,
There's
absolutely.
always room for other people's opinions
Opinion.
and ideas. There's no one on the planet that's perfect.
And we've
There's
talked
no
about
one
that.
that knows everything about everything. And if you think you do, there's a scripture somewhere in the Bible that says you're more than likely a fool. I'm not saying that you are, but you shouldn't think that you know everything
Well, you
about
got some people
everything.
that do now. And if you have any thoughts, and we encourage this,
Mhm.
call 708-223-8953. If you have any questions, we want to hear from you.
Right. And even comments later, if you're scrolling through YouTube, because we can be found on YouTube, just put a comment, because we really would like some feedback. Because one of the things that I believe we're about on this show is resolve. We want to get to the place where everybody is good. I mean, we can't be perfect or wonderful all the time. I don't know why, but we just can't be. So we at least want
Have
to
a
be
happy
good.
spot and
Yeah.
have it resolved. And I
Yeah.
think that's what I love
Yeah.
to do, get things resolved. You got a problem. But
Mhm.
go ahead and read that, and then we'll talk about that.
And then sometimes you don't know how or why. So this is what I like to do. Is to say why or how to do what you need to do, how to love, how to be happy, how to be excited, how to be kind, how to forgive. And we're going to talk about that a little bit later too. But this is what I've written about relationships. The foundation of a strong relationship consists of 5 important principles. According to Merriam Webster, the definition of principle is a general or basic truth on which other truths or theories can be based specific principles. Fundamental quality or attributes of something, an essence. It is a rule or belief governing one's personal behavior. The five principles are love, honesty, trust, patience, and mutual respect.
Perfect.
These five principles, properly driven, is fuel for any relationship, the basis for growth, strength, and endurance. With hopes of having a relationship of longevity, there must exist a mindset of I do you, you
You
do
do you
me.
me.
You do me, I
I
do
do you.
you simultaneously. That's the key. We have to do it together.
Give and take.
There it is. There also must exist effective communication. There's that word we often talk about, communication. This does not mean, however, that I talk to you, you listen, or you talk to me, I obey. Effective communication starts with the willingness, key word, willingness to understand one another, to be open and receptive to each other's point of view, even if we disagree. We respect one another enough to listen. Effective communication does not necessarily mean I will change your point of view or you will change mine. Effective communication means I understand and respect your position, and you likewise respect and understand mine.
And that's what it's about.
And I think if we can lead off with that, see, the key word also, in my opinion, is respect. We all deserve respect. We all want respect. And so, I mean, people fight because they feel that they're being
Being disrespected.
disrespected.
Yes.
See, so we have to understand what that's all about. And then the other piece is communicating. Communicating again is such a broad word, but what really does that mean and how does that show up?
So what is your what do you feel that it means?
Well, to me it means that we need to figure out, and I use that word to figure out because we don't know how to agree
To
to
disagree.
disagree
Absolutely.
kindly, because you can disagree with somebody, but you don't have to be mean about it, and then allow the other person to explain themselves. Sometimes we don't do that, and then that comes the chaos.
And sometimes, like, I had a conversation with someone, and sometimes you have to really figure it out and really search your heart to
Hmm.
find out what is it that you might be feeling towards someone,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
figure out where is this coming from. You
Right.
just have you're distant, or you're not embracing, you're not very caring to that individual. So you have to try and figure it out as to where is this coming from, what's causing it. And you might say, oh no, that's not the case, or I don't feel that way.
Mhm.
But all of your actions show that. That's just like if somebody's saying that, like Ed, for example. I'm gonna use him for example. You ask him, which is very, very positive and very good though, because you ask him how he's feeling or whatever, and he could not be feeling good,
Mhm.
but he'll say, I'm super,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
But sometimes you have to just be honest about what it is that and we were
Mhm.
talking about words having power,
Oh
but
yes.
sometimes you still have to address, and that's how you come, like
Mhm.
we were saying, to a resolve.
Mhm. Mhm. Well, a lot of times too, you have to allow the person to be who they are, not who you want them to be. And a lot of times we don't do that. And that's in different settings. Parents, to children, to
Children,
their
absolutely,
children,
yeah.
children or siblings to sibling, husband to wife, vice versa, friends to friends. We we want people to be the way we think they should be. And so we don't give room for them to be whoever they are because we may not agree with them. So we have to think about that as we're moving along within the relationship. Relationships are merely people relating one to another. So and then being honest, because honesty is a very
That's what
difficult
I'm
thing.
saying.
It's very
To be
difficult.
honest, now when I say that it doesn't have to be, and when you love someone, you love them where they're at,
Mhm.
and you understand that. But because you want, uh, if someone is being indifferent and you absolutely feel it, that's when you're a feeling type of person,
Mhm.
and you absolutely feel this indifference, then that doesn't mean because you want them to be honest about what it might be that they're feeling towards you, and that they probably need to search to find out if they're holding something against you, then that doesn't mean that you're trying to make them be what you want them to be. You want a resolve.
But what if you're feeling that, but they're not? What if you're feeling a certain way that that person is treating you and they don't even feel that? They don't even think that. They're
Then
not.
what is the purpose of then why you, if you're a feeling type of person and you excuse me, and you're very spiritual, nobody's stupid. If you're feeling something, you know when somebody loves you, when they genuinely care and when they really love you, you know it.
Mhm,
There's no question, there's no doubt.
mhm.
But when you feel doubt about a person caring or loving you, that you're usually not wrong about that.
But what if like Tina Turner say, what love's got to do with it? Maybe it's not the love because you do love and you know that you love. Maybe it's something else.
And the something else is what I'm saying. What could it be? And that's why I said then you have to, you need to just take time and search your heart to find out what it is. Because what comes from the heart goes to the heart. And when people are genuine and you know that they're genuine and they've done things for you from the heart, and but yet you're still distant and you're
You mean the other
critical,
person
the other
is
person
okay?
is very
Hmm.
critical and put you, you feel that they're putting you, they put you down very quickly to uh um attack you for no unknown reason, then you know that warrants
A
an inquiry. It
conversation.
does.
A
And when you have a
conversation.
conversation, you can't just say, "Oh no, I don't feel that way," but actions show that.
So what do you think? And we're just talking here.
Right.
What do you think when you bring it to the person how you feel, and they say that's those are not my intentions at all. I am so sorry that you feel that. I because oh my goodness, I would not want you to be feeling that. And you say, "Well, I do." And then what then do you expect that other person to do or say, because in their heart in their mind they're not even feeling that, but that's what you're getting.
Then what makes them? Then what makes that person do the things that they do? If
You
if
mean
if
what
you're
makes the
saying
person that's feeling that feel that?
no, I'm saying then what makes the person that say, "Oh God, no, I don't feel that way," or they just say, "Well, no, you're wrong, I don't feel that way." Then why do you treat the person that way then?
Mhm.
If you don't feel like that, then why is everything negative? A lot of things are negative that you respond, or you are distant, or it's just and they're not necessarily treating anybody else like that.
But do you know, have you considered that negative people may not even realize that they're negative? Some people don't think that they're negative
That's
because
true.
of what negativity is. They just don't think that. They don't they It's called being in their own world and doing what they do and being who they are. They don't think they're negative. And then when someone brings something to them that you're saying, "Oh, you're
Excuse
treating
me.
me like this," or I'm uncomfortable, or "I don't like the way I'm feeling when you feel it." They like, what? Where is that coming from?
Right.
And then when you explain to them, then I think then that's at the point where they should say, it depends on the person. You're saying, well, what is it that you need from me? Because if they truly love you, they care about you. There's that word, care.
And we're talking in
In
general.
general, yes, we're
Right.
talking in general, because that can be across the board. That can be parent to child,
Yes.
husband, wife, mother, daughter,
Mhm.
father, son, because those dynamics are real, and there are very harsh situations where those relationships are challenged. A father and a son,
Absolutely. Daughter
daughter and
and
mother, they're challenged. Sister to sister, sometimes brother's brother. There's a thing about the middle child. There's a thing about the oldest child. You got to go through, and then the youngest child. So, within the confines of human behavior, there's so many aspects to relationships, which means we relating one to another. The key, in my opinion, really is talking it out
well, and that's
and
what
not letting it
that's what I always
yeah,
say and
not
believe in. I
yeah.
think that's very important because then you get to the heart of things. But the most important thing is the honesty.
Hmm.
When you decide that what it might be, and it might be even rough to hear, but
Yes.
if you do that soul search and you really come up with whatever it is, then in order to resolve it, you have to do that.
Now, do you think both parties need to do that soul searching?
Absolutely. I
Yeah,
definitely do.
because I
That's
say
that's
all the
being
time.
honest. You have to,
Yeah,
and the most
yeah.
important thing is that a person that might be feeling that,
Hmm.
they have to be they definitely have to soul search
Yeah,
and try and figure out, well, where is this coming from? But they have to find out maybe what it is that they've done to maybe have created
right.
that. And sometimes we don't we don't think like
Right.
that.
We don't realize it because, as we were talking earlier, and I often say that no matter how flat the pancake, there's always two
To
sides.
hmm
See, so
absolutely.
my story about a situation is going to be different than the other person's story. I mean, it's the
Absolutely.
same situation, but let me tell my side, it's going to be one thing, and then when the other person tell their side,
It's going
it's
to be
it's
their
it's
side.
it's totally different.
Right.
So we have to consider
But it's all
that
about
when you
feeling.
yes,
It's with everything. It's all about, I don't care what we're doing in life, it's all about feeling,
how you feel,
how you
and
feel.
you
And
want to
and that
feel
cannot be
good.
escaped, and
Yeah.
that cannot be minimized. And
Hmm.
I think we have to be careful about, if you're feeling something, I can't minimize what you're feeling,
Right.
because you're feeling what you're feeling, and
Yeah.
there is a reason for that.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be that you're being sensitive, because a lot of times people
Yeah.
use that term. Well, I think you're being sensitive. I think you're being overly sensitive.
Yeah.
But what makes that where you got to be sensitive? Because you're feeling offended, or you're feeling hurt, or you're
Hmm.
feeling like you've been
Dismiss
exploited or
or
dismissed.
yeah.
That is a
Yeah.
perfect word,
Yeah.
because that's the worst thing a person can do, is dismiss what you're feeling,
Hmm.
or they feel like you're just going on and on about a subject, but what is making you go on is maybe because of even the reaction that you got.
Hmm. Hmm.
So that
Yeah.
dismissiveness is real critical.
Yeah.
We don't ever want to dismiss somebody's feelings, because that's what creates a lot of suicide
Yeah.
and illnesses,
Feeling that they're
a
alone
feeling
and
that
no
they're
one
being
cares.
abandoned.
Yeah.
Nobody cares,
Hmm.
because it doesn't seem important,
To anyone else.
right?
Yeah.
And because it's important to you, if you really love me,
Hmm.
and I'm talking in general,
Oh yeah.
if you really love me and you say you do, then what I'm feeling should be just as important to you. And I think that's critical.
Yeah.
And then we talk about, no matter how we say it or put it, and we talked about that, that a lot of it does stem from your childhood and things that happen that maybe as even siblings, we don't really realize. And then that's when you look at it and you have jealousies that have arrived, that come up. And so,
and that's very true about your childhood. I always go there first when speaking with someone. How I ask the question, how was your childhood?
right,
Your parents,
between your siblings.
yes. And you you may not even realize some things until it is brought to you. You may not realize that someone said something to you as a child, and this is how it's affecting you. You may not realize that you're jealous or envious of a person, a sibling.
Yes.
You may not even realize that, but then there again, once the conversation is had and you're listening and paying attention, and
There
you're
it is
looking at,
too.
yeah,
Paying attention.
how you feel.
Yes.
See, there's so many dynamics to emotions. How you feel, what you feel, why you feel what you feel. I can remember Johnny Coleman, um, Christ Universal Temple, used to always talk about how you think. Your thoughts are extremely powerful. How you think determines how you make decisions, how you feel, and you have to be conscious of how you think about what you think about. And so, on the offset, when you're in a relationship, you have to first of all be honest with yourself.
Yeah.
And I think that's very difficult. Again, there's a scripture that talk about love thy neighbor as thyself, and we always go to the part love thy neighbor, and the most important part is as thyself. First, you have to love yourself, and then love someone else. So it's easier to love someone else or even forgive someone if you love yourself first. And we've been taught that loving yourself, thinking about yourself, is a form of selfishness and vanity, which it is not. Um, in my opinion, it's more of a strength when you love who you are. You don't want to go overboard, but you don't want to go overboard on anything. So of
Absolutely
course
not.
you don't want to go overboard on loving who you are. But if you don't love who you are, it's going to be very difficult to
To love
love
someone
others.
else.
Mom says that it's a poor dog that can't wag his own tail.
I agree.
So we have to be conscious of so many things, and then we're taught things as children, um, what to do and what not to do and how to do it, and sometimes it's just not right. It's just not right because it does not serve us. So you have to look at things that will serve you well. Honesty, respect, mutual respect.
That's right. Integrity.
Integrity is extremely important.
And I really feel very, very strongly, and I don't think that you can miss this when you treat people like you want to be treated. When you do that, it's like,
how do you not do that?
How do you not do that?
Yeah.
But everybody doesn't think like that because they don't care enough. Just like as far as when you say you love someone, it cannot be empty words.
Yeah.
You can't just be saying it for show or saying it. You got to say it and say it to mean it.
Well,
mean what you say and say what you mean.
Love is an
action word. And we say that all the time when we talk about relationships.
It's something you do. You can you tell me all the time, oh, I just love you, I love you, but I can't depend on you. I don't feel that you
No,
love me.
you don't
You
listen to
don't
things
do
that I
what
say.
never,
No,
or very rarely.
like my grandbaby say, no.
So how do you demonstrate love? Love
Right.
is a demonstration.
It is.
So you have to be,
And you don't let
again, conscious.
anybody, like they say, you don't let anybody piss on you and tell you it's raining.
Hmm.
But when somebody says they love you, they do need to show it with
Right.
action.
Right.
And part of that is listening to the heart of the other person and then listening to your heart.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And I think a lot of times people um, they don't consider. There's not a lot of consideration. Unfortunately, they take kindness for weakness,
Hmm.
and there seems like there's no understanding. And one of the things that you said when you were reading, which I think is also really prime,
Hmm.
is patience.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Patience.
Right.
Because when you have patience with people that you say you care about and that you love, then that's what creates more understanding too,
Hmm. Hmm.
and more belief. And I
Yeah.
think a lot of times we just don't have the patience. And so that's what makes people turn and run away.
Hmm.
And again, the resolve is left unresolved.
Unresolved. Yeah. 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 You don't want to. You don't want to talk about it. And a lot of times people don't want to talk about certain
And
things
that's
because they don't want
so
to be
bad.
hurt. They don't want to feel the pain. They don't want to feel the
But what
discomfort.
about the acknowledgement? They don't want to acknowledge. And so therefore nothing becomes resolved.
Right.
So you ignore it,
Hmm.
or
And
you
what good
just
is that?
or you just leave it alone.
Yeah.
And to leave it alone can be an insult to someone that you say that you care for as well.
But then also when you don't, to me, when you don't address a situation, then the other person assumes. See, then you assume that this is why they do what they have done. If you don't address it and be clear about it. So,
But if you have addressed it and you've been clear about
well,
it and
yeah,
it's not
that's
addressed,
yeah,
then that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
It's an insult, and it's a resolve that does not become resolved.
And then you have to let it go
Yes.
because there's nothing more
And that's what we
important
say.
than
You have to just let it
self-care.
go. Right.
You know,
That's why people have so many, and
yeah,
the stress, that's why people are having so many strokes and heart
yeah.
attacks and all, because they're stressed out and don't even realize it.
No, that's very true. And family, that love thing is really something because if you feel in love for someone and they're not,
And
and they're
sometimes
not
family
feeling
can be
the,
the
oh
worst.
yeah, because they're the closest to you.
Yes.
They're the closest to you, friends or whatever. You could take them or leave them, but your family
Not
is
really.
supposed to
Not
be,
genuine friends.
well then I say that if you have a strong family unit, you really don't have a whole lot of friends because you have what you need. NEED. You have what you need. And then if you have a good foundation on family, you're going to know how to do your friends. You're going to have good friends. You know, you sort of pay attention to people who have more friends and they're not close to their family. But there again, you got to go back to that childhood.
Hello.
How was that mom? How was that dad? What was the dynamic in the home? How did mom speak to me as a child? How did he
Wonderfully.
speak to my other siblings? How did dad speak to mom? I mean, all of that plays a part in the growth of a person.
I agree with
And
that.
you cannot let you cannot discount that
Absolutely
because
not.
that is how you became to be.
Yes.
See, and I go to my childhood. In my opinion, And that's why I am the way that I am, because I had an amazing childhood to me,
I
you
did
know.
too.
So I there's certain things that I just never experienced because of the childhood that I had. There's certain um decisions that I made or did not make because of my childhood. I consider myself a very confident person, because from the as long as I can remember, I knew I was loved, appreciated by everybody. And so I never longed for something from someone else because I got the foundation. I often say anything built on a weak foundation cannot stand.
No.
And so the responsibility of parents is to mold and shape your children to become viable adults. But guess what? If you didn't have that,
You don't even know
you
how
don't know how to
to
do it.
provide it, right?
So it becomes an ongoing struggle. And
And then
even if you have a good
that's what I
childhood, you
was fixing to
still
say.
make mistakes,
Yeah,
or you have challenges, or you have to make certain decisions that you be like, where did that come from?
that's what I've
You
gone
know,
through because
uh, uh,
I was
yeah.
raised. I had a wonderful childhood. I mean, my parents. I never even heard my dad raise his voice at my mother. I
Hmm.
mean, I came from a wonderful and blessed home,
Hmm.
and I got older and allowed myself to be abused by a man.
Hmm.
And that when you say you try to figure that out, and you're saying, and when you say, where did that come from? And that's
Hmm.
when, because my mother even said, baby, what are you doing? She said, we don't use, Ed hates the word Negro, so I'll,
Right.
nigger, but I'll say Negro. She said a Negro would be pushing up daisies, but she didn't say that. She said
Yeah.
a nigger would be.
Uh-huh.
So, and I just, it's something that I could not understand why I would allow myself to go through that,
Mm.
because that was something that, and that's what I love about Ed. He's such a gentleman, and I mean, he just, and he and the things that he's been through as a child,
Hmm.
he went through a lot. I mean, when he was telling me, I was in tears. He
Hmm.
could have been an abusive man.
Hmm.
He could have been a gangster. He just could have been terrible. But
Hmm.
he's such a gentleman and
Hmm.
so kind. And he reminds me so much of my father. That's why I say, when after my mother died and I ran into Ed, I hadn't seen him in 3 years. And the next day, the day after I buried my mother,
Hmm.
I ran into Ed. I just couldn't believe it. It was almost like my mother sent him to me.
Hmm.
So, you know, I didn't never understand why I allowed myself to go through the things that I went through. It was just so unbelievable.
Hmm.
And so, yeah, like you're saying, I often say, where did that come from?
Yeah.
But I was young, vulnerable,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
you have to own things, and
Right.
stupid, because
Right.
that's exactly what that was.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's all about where you do feel and go through things. And it doesn't necessarily have to come through its decisions.
Right.
Again, when we make
Oh yeah.
decisions.
Oh yeah. You know.
And those were decisions that I
Right.
made, and they weren't good for me.
Right. Right.
No.
But then they taught you. I mean, they were life lessons, because you would never allow anything like that now.
No,
See.
absolutely not.
So, things happen. I I believe that everything happened as it should,
Yeah.
and it's all good. We just have to find the good in it. And I often hear you say that all that you went through, you would not have met Ed, and he's been a wonderful addition to your life and your
Yes.
world, and your daughter and her children, and all of that. I mean, and then also understand him, what he went through. He was able to get a family that he could be a wonderful person to.
Too. Yes.
You
And he's
see,
been just that.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
So,
it's
yeah.
amazing how the cycle comes
Hmm.
about. And then what I always look at is God is such a blessing.
Oh, Yeah.
He's such a perfect God,
It's so
because
wonderful.
he gives
Yeah.
you what you need,
Yeah.
and what's so wonderful about it, he gives it to you when you need it.
That's right.
And so
Always. Yeah.
sometimes, again, with mistakes that you make and all, sometimes you do have to go through a certain cycle, a certain period of time, because of a decision or
Right.
decisions that you made.
And I'm gonna be like Ed in that I don't want to call them mistakes, because I call them life lessons. And you have to be very conscious of learning from them, because the fact that this happened for a reason. So
Absolutely.
you have to be conscious of making that reason work for you. You know, we have to always think about how I can do better and be better. Oh, that was another writing that I have called We as Citizens of the World. And that's what you want to do. Everybody wants something good. I don't care who you are. Even the
Yes.
craziest person who we think is crazy, a rapist, a murderer, they thinking that they want something and they're not getting it. So they think that as crazy as they are, if they do this, they might get it.
Unfortunately.
So we have
That's
to
a sick mind, though.
it is. And that came from somewhere. See, so when you look at why people do what they do, there is a reason somewhere. It really is, and we just
And some people um, take advantage of life.
mhm,
They don't
wow,
necessarily embrace it as they should. Um, they take it for granted,
mhm.
and we have to be very mindful
Oh
and
yes,
careful about that too,
yes.
because like what do you say? People are here today.
Oh, and gone today.
Yeah.
We
So
used
you
to
can't
say
take life for
we
granted.
yeah, we used to say here today and gone tomorrow. But there are people who woke up this morning at 9, and what time is it? 6:47. They're gone. They passed away.
Yeah.
And so your goal should be, individual goals should be to live your life as wonderfully as you possibly can.
Yes.
Then you figure out, how can I do that? Control that which you can control. You cannot control other people, what they say, do, or think. You cannot.
You cannot.
You will have a problem trying to control what other people do, what other people say, why they do what they do. You have to concentrate on yourself. This is
Yes.
me.
Hmm.
From here, this is what I control.
That's it.
And hell, let me tell you something. That's more than enough.
I hear you.
My own thinking. Sometimes I'll be like, what do,
What do you think? Well, how are you doing
what
that? Right.
it's not that serious, Pam.
Yeah.
And I tell people now that Rob, my brother, had passed away, nothing,
Yeah.
nothing matters.
Yeah.
And then everything matters.
Yes.
So now he was gone just like that. We was in Hawaii. Bernice gone just like that. Betty gone just like that. And for me, so those three people in my life, those were experiences that have changed me. Now, had they never happened, I don't know what, but the passing of those three people in my life, and I don't even say that about my dad, because my dad was the most wonderful father for me and for all my siblings. I mean, and for people in my family. Everybody loved my dad.
I
They
know.
call
I know.
him,
Ed and I did. He was a
oh, my
jewel.
dad was
He
amazing.
was.
He uh, uh,
Ed
uh
loved
his
sitting with him.
nickname when he was growing up was Sugar. His sisters, his brother, he was number 7 of 13. And you would have thought he was the oldest. He was just that kind of guy. Everybody on his
Plus, he
job,
was so
everybody.
smart,
Oh,
so intelligent.
he was just a great person.
And he was one of the
And
ones that
fair,
said
oh,
what he
he was
said
ridiculous. Yeah,
and meant what he said.
yeah,
And
yeah.
yeah, he was.
But when he passed, Dad was 92, I think, 92 or 93. Dad had lived a good life. He did what he wanted to do. He was a great father. He was a great husband to Mom. Some people say, well, you don't know how he was with your mother. But honey, let me tell you something. My father, like you said, my father I never once heard my dad speak mean to my mom.
Mm.
Never. And that's how I would not have a man speak mean to me. I can't conceive of it. You will not do that. I
That's why
can't
my
I
mother
can't do it.
didn't get what
Yeah.
I was going through, cause
Yeah.
no.
And me, my mother never degraded uh 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 degraded my dad. Never.
Me
She was
either.
always encouraging, always supportive. And that's how I am. I just feel that because it worked. Had Dad not passed away, they would have been married 70 years
And
that
when
year.
my dad passed, because he passed before my mom,
Hmm.
they had been
Yeah.
married 56
See?
years. And
Yeah.
I mean, 2 or 3, because Mama Hodges is doing wonderful.
Oh.
Because my mother, he died in 84. And my mother died in 88,
Oh,
just
see.
suddenly,
Hmm.
you know. So, and I think it was a broken
Yeah.
heart
Yeah.
because when she had to move from her apartment, they asked for her apartment because one of the daughters of the landlord wanted that apartment.
Hmm.
And they just
That
snatched
move.
all her memories.
Yeah. That move.
It
Yeah.
just was not good for her.
Yeah.
And she said that too. She was just, I can just see her little face now. She just was in tears. She
Hmm.
couldn't believe they did her like that.
Hmm.
So, but it's it is very, very important to, we always say, to embrace life. That's why I just love my signature song, Here's the Life.
Hmm.
All you give is all you get. I mean, it's just so many um, phenomenal lyrics in that song.
Hmm.
And I heard that song in 2010. When I
Hmm.
first heard that song, man, it just melted my soul
Yeah.
because of the message
That was
that
one
it
of my
has.
favorite
And
too.
speaking of Here's the Life, is my Here's the Life concert is coming up October 18th that you don't want to miss it. Oh, it's going to be phenomenal. This is my 8th Here's the Life, and it is at 15800 South State Street at South Suburban College. We have a new location, and I'm pretty happy with that location too. It doesn't hold, like we have VIP and we have general admission. Our VIPs go just like that, and we're just so excited. We got a great group of guys that are playing behind me, led by Mr. Tyrone Blair. And I'm just so excited because we have um, Roger Harris on keyboards.
Hmm.
I just love him. He played for my concert in 23.
Hmm.
And then we have Jamal back that does the flute
Oh,
and
yes.
sax. He's
That's
very, very
great.
good.
Yeah.
And then, but my opening act is who I'm so ecstatic about.
Yeah.
Um, Mark Allen Felton, better known, aka as Panther, who is
Yes.
one of the baddest saxophonists, which is my favorite instrument.
Instrument. Yeah.
Oh man, so you're in for a treat. Go to Eventbrite, go to my website, imzimrod.com, and push that button and purchase your general admission ticket, because those are the tickets that we're really pushing now, general admission. Get your tickets today. You will not be sorry. I'm telling you. Doors open at 6 for general admission. Those at VIP, doors open at 5. I have a wonderful sister that I met, and I'm very excited about her, Kelsey Phillips.
Hmm.
She is a photographer and videographer,
Okay.
and I am so excited about
Well, you want
her.
to talk about your honorees as well. Your
Oh yeah, we're
honorees
nailing
and
some of
why
that.
you're doing that.
Yeah,
That's a
yeah, and we're
because
going
a
to talk
lot of
about that
people
next
don't
week
do that.
because everything will be solidified.
Hmm.
But I'm really
No,
glad
I'm
that you talked
yeah.
about that,
Hmm.
because we do honor um, ordinary people, but they're not really ordinary. But
Hmm.
people that are of my philosophy, which my philosophy is age is nothing but a number. As long as you can walk, talk, and breathe, you keep it moving, and you're active, and you're still embracing life. You're still doing things that you love and just living life to the fullest, because it doesn't mean because maybe you got joint problems or knee problem. That's joint, your
Right.
knees.
Yeah,
But just
anything.
because you're
Yeah.
going through whatever. Like I have to say, Rose Brooks, because we have ticket ambassadors. And Rose Brooks, I met her when I had my boutique in South Holland, beautiful boutique. And she became one of my regular customers. This lady is just wonderful. And she's going through some challenges or whatever, but she just keeps it moving.
Uh-huh.
We honored her about maybe about 4 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
And she's just a wonderful, wonderful lady and very, very supportive. And I just love and appreciate all of those that are helping to make this be a successful event for me, including you.
Oh, what am I doing?
You are one of my ticket ambassadors, and she is going to be the host for the evening.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, she knew that. Talking about, oh, that's right. So I'm just,
Oh, yeah,
I
we're gonna
feel
have a
very, very
fun.
blessed. It's going to
Yeah.
be very, very good.
Yeah.
And so we say go straight to Eventbrite, but you can go to my website, iamzemra.com, and it'll take you straight to Eventbrite and purchase that ticket. Tickets are $45. And
We're gonna have
it's going to be a
vendors.
wonder. Yeah, we're going to have
That's another good
vendors,
thing.
and we'll share some of the vendors'
Yeah.
names and some of our honorees. But what I was saying is that we really and truly honoring people that might have never been honored before. We've
Mm-hmm.
had some that were just, matter of fact, I was blessed because Pam's brothers are so wonderful. I look at them as my brothers, because we honored Rob
Rob.
last year, who was just, oh my
Uh,
God, he just was a phenomenal, phenomenal guy. And Ed and I just love her family. And we just love you all.
yeah.
We just love
Yeah.
you all. Getting ready to honor Mama Hodges, her mom, who is turning 95, and
Yes.
just such a wonderful
Birthday
lady.
party for her. Yeah.
Still doing her
Cross.
crossword puzzles. And I have to say, she gets her rest.
Yes.
She gets her pampering.
Uh,
And she
woke up
she
this morning at
deserves to be
1 o'clock
spoiled.
wanting to eat something.
But she deserves it, because
Anything she do,
you
anything she
always say,
wants, she can have
because you
anything.
always say that if you woke up in the morning and needed something,
I
she
tell
was
her that.
right
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
she's more
Yeah.
than
Oh,
deserving. So
absolutely.
it's just a lot of people that are going through so many things, and we all are, because of the way the world is going. And it's just so sad. And then you hear so many um, transitions, and
Yeah.
just like we heard one of
Uh,
the girls that worked my door, B, we send blessings out to
her
Queen. She was
family.
part of
Bishop
Bishop
Pearson's
Pearson's group,
New
uh,
Dimension.
New Dimension.
Yeah.
And B was she would be at
Beautiful
my
young
door.
lady.
Her and her mom would handle my doors in the early parts of my concert. Just a beautiful, beautiful sister. And she made her transition suddenly. So we have to really count our
Embrace
blessings,
life.
embrace life, and just be grateful.
Yes.
Be grateful.
Mhm.
And so I'm just so excited about looking forward to my concert, and just wanted to turn out really good.
And it will.
Like you saying, we
It
want
will.
everything that's good.
Yeah.
It's
That's what
time to
we want.
just, because things that we can change, that's what we do.
Right.
Things we can't, we can no longer worry
Yeah.
about it.
Right.
So
Yes.
that's what's important. But I hope that you enjoyed our segment. I'm going to try and work on, Pam says once a month, but she has always so many good things to say. We're going to try and get her to come out.
Yeah.
Uh,
Whatever.
we're going to try and get her to come out maybe another time during the month, because when you have people that have substance, and relationships are so pertinent.
Yeah.
They're just so important. And when you have someone that's enthusiastic about relationships, making them work, and she writes so many beautiful things about relationships and where they need to go and what needs to happen to create relationships of substance. whether it's with a man or whether it's with your woman or whether it's with a sibling or
Family,
your
yeah.
children. You know, it's a lot to be said.
It is.
And we want you to
It is.
share some of our writings. So we're going to see, you know, with everything, the holidays and the fall is coming up, we're going to see if we can get her to visit us a little more often. And then we have a couple other guests that's going to come back. And so we're kind of excited about that. So we hope that you enjoyed our segment. We're going to let Pam say something to close us out. And
The only thing that I would say is do your best to love yourself and love someone else.
yes,
That's
the
it.
key.
You love. And what does love look like? You determine that. Don't say what I say. What do you want?
Right.
And then the other thing is just control what you can control. Figure out what you can control. Don't try to control anything or anyone else that is out of your realm of control. And you're going to find your life is much, much better if you
Yes.
concern yourself with yourself.
And be happy.
Yes.
That's what Pam always say. Be happy.
Be happy because you'll realize happy people act better.
And then one of the things that we're going to talk about, and that's that we kind of touched on that we were talking this morning, and we're going to kind of branch that out. And that we're talking about happy right quick, but we are going to talk about when we talk about being hurt and understanding that sometimes people that are hurting, they hurt others. So we're going to expound and talk a little bit more about that because sometimes we wonder why that happens like that. And that's one of the things we wanted to talk about, but there is many reasons for that. So we hope you enjoyed our segment. As always, thank you so much for coming out. And we always want to thank our producers, Wanda B and Earl Winfrey, for having this platform for us to be able to share our thoughts and feelings and be able to relay it to you. Check us out. And again, love is possible when you believe it is. Have a wonderful evening. No complaints and no regrets. I still believe in chasing dreams.